Hi, cutie pies. It is Lanickia, and I am coming to you with another episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. Y'all, this is turning out, this is like one of my favorite soaps. I think I said that yesterday, but it really is. Okay. So, Ridge and Thomas. Ridge and Thomas are talking, and Ridge tells Thomas, like, what is it? There's something bothering you. You said it was important. Now you're saying it's nothing. What is it? Thomas ain't telling. Because Ridge keeps saying how happy he is with his mom, and he can clearly see they're happy, and he just doesn't want to ruin that. He wants his parents together. So he is not inclined to tell about what Sheila did. And so Ridge keeps asking him, but he eventually we find out he doesn't say anything. So it's like, okay. So then we go over to, because that's pretty much all it was with that storyline. And then we go over to Sheila and Taylor. So Sheila and Taylor are talking, right? And so Sheila is just like, she's so happy that she and Ridge are working it out. And she said, I know you're a good person, Taylor, but there must be a small part of you that's happy about what's happening with Brooke or whatever. She was like, no, like, she's not like you, Sheila. She was like, me and Brooke have our differences, but she needs help. And because she was like, and I would love to find out what really triggered her to drink. And excuse me, Sheila's like, you think it has to be something? And she was like, yes. And she needs to find that deep root of what that was so that she can heal that. And it won't, and at least she'll know that's what triggers her. And then, so Sheila's talking about her Ridge and Taylor and how happy she is. And Taylor just says, listen, I'm not comfortable having what Taylor said was, I'm not comfortable kikiing with you. Like, we are on the path to building some kind of something, but we're not friends. And she was like, I understand, and I know we're not there yet, but I'm just happy that you invited me over. Was it for Christmas? It was Christmas, I believe. It was Christmas and New Year's, one of the holidays. You invited me over, and she was like, that's a good step. And they just, they agreed to, let's take things slow and build up to something. But we're not friends. We're not, at least for Taylor's part. She's like, I'm setting boundaries and standards, and we're not there and everything. And Sheila agrees or whatever. But but they always show Sheila on the inside, like, but we will be, because I did this for you. So then we see that Sheila goes to her, goes back to her place, and she's like, she's nervous because she's like, oh, Thomas, you better not have told Ridge what I did. And, just keep your mouth shut. And so there's a knock on the door, and she's like, I'm busy. And he says, it's Thomas. So she lets Thomas in, and she said, did you tell him? Did you tell Ridge what I did? Thomas didn't tell nothing. Thomas didn't tell a thing because he wants his parents together. And then Sheila said, yes, your parents can be together. And he was like, this is wrong. And she's like, Brooke, this is wrong. You made Brooke drink. And Sheila tells Thomas, I made her drink, but I didn't make her kiss Deacon now. And I didn't make her have Deacon lay his head down on your father's place in the bed. I didn't do all that. All I did was make the woman drink. But making her drink made her make choices that she normally would not have made. So you could try to sugarcoat this all you want to. Yes, Sheila shouldn't have done what she did, but had she been sober, maybe she wouldn't have made that choice that day. You know what I mean? So anyways, she's just like, because Ridge told Thomas that, he knows he always forgives Brooke, but he could also see that Thomas still loves Brooke. And Thomas could also see that Ridge still loves Brooke. And I think that's one of the main reasons he didn't tell, because he's like, you were willing to forgive her. He was like, yes, I was. He said, I don't know what happened. And he's like, my parents love each other and they're in this, but I think he realized they're not as solid as they should be. So let me not tell this, because Ridge is going to go right on back to Brooke if I tell this. But I think Ridge is confused, and the worst thing you can do right now is to get with Taylor, because you're confused. So now you're hurting her and your children, who are clearly still fully invested in mommy and daddy. So that whole thing, it wraps up with them where she tells him, keep your mouth shut. Don't say it. She tells Thomas, keep your mouth shut. And then we see Ridge go over to Taylor making an excuse about Thomas told me it was wrong. He's happy to see his parents together. But when Ridge hugs Taylor, he ain't all the way in it. And I'm like, and I think Taylor is smart to say, let's take things slow and keep boundaries up, because Ridge is not all the way in this, girl. So don't be falling for him thinking you got your family back, because you don't. As soon as he finds out about Brooke, and I wish Brooke would just be like, no, when he finds out, don't use that as an excuse to be like, oh, I feel vindicated. No, girl, leave him alone, because yeah, I don't like, they're not, this is too toxic. Like, this too toxic. Y'all be running to other people. It's too toxic. Leave each other alone. So then we go to Zindy and Paris. So he's created these new designs, and he said, you were my muse and all that. And then he says he was thinking about going out later, and he was thinking about asking Sequoia what that make with Paris. How does she feel about that? And hold on just a second. Yeah, he wants to know, how does Paris feel about him? Does it bother her? I'm like, sir, no, it does not bother Paris. And so then when he's asking her this, Carter comes in. Now, you know, Paris and Carter got a little thing going on. So Carter comes in, and I don't know why Zinni did this, but he was like, oh, I'm glad you're here because, I want to and he asked Sequoia, he asked Paris again how she would feel if he was going out with Sequoia. And Carter's like, well, I probably shouldn't be here, but no. He wanted Carter there because he said things have been weird between him and Paris, and he feels like having Carter there would be a good thing. And so he tells him, I was asking her how she would feel if I was going out with Sequoia. He said, but clearly I can tell she does not care. It does not bother her at all. She does not care. And he says, are you seeing someone? Now, Carter and Paris are both uncomfortable because they are seeing each other. And he doesn't know it. And he was like, I just wanted to make it clear because, Sequoia works in the building. We're all in this building together. And I'm sorry if I put you on the spot. Because she said, yeah, you like put me on the spot. And he's like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I just don't want it to be weird or everything or whatever. But I still I still care for you and all that. Like, sir, leave this girl alone. So then Carter, is like, well, I'm glad y'all could talk, but I feel like I should leave. And then Zindy goes and tells Carter, I appreciate your friendship and all that. Please end this scene. Y'all got this man looking pathetic in this scene. So they go their separate ways. And so later on, Sequoia is there and he's doing a fitting on her and everything. And she looks gorgeous as always. And Gloria comes in. And she was real icy to Sequoia, but Sequoia left. She was like, but she had asked Zindy, do you want to go out later? And he was like, no, I got a deadline. So Gloria comes in and she tells Zindy, is it really that you had a deadline? Or are you still pining away at Paris? And that's why you don't want to go out with a beautiful model or whatever. In scene with them. Okay, so then we go over to Carter's place, right? And he cannot focus. And he said, oh my gosh, how many times I got to remind him? And he said, oh, I didn't remind him. He can't even focus because he's still thinking about Paris. So then he gets a knock on the door. He ignores it. He went to get a beer and got a knock on the door and sat down. And I said, was there not a knock on the door? And then it was another knock on the door. And he was like, who is it? I'm busy or something. And she was like, it's Paris or something. So he opens the door and she tells him, I've been thinking about you. He says, this is dangerous you being here. She was like, I've been thinking about you. I know you've been thinking about me too. And then they're going to, make it do what it do. And that was the bold and the beautiful today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know about this whole Paris and this is messy. And it's all messy. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.